Good afternoon. I am Major General BK Sharma, the Director, United Service Institution of India, which is India's 150 years old premium tri-service think tank. I am here to participate in a brain trust show produced by British High Commission in concert with Peninsula Studio. The Peninsular Studio is one of the finest studios in the country, and the three organizations have actually signed a memorandum of understanding to record a series of shows on military history and geopolitics. It is in that connection that the USI is presenting shows on its military history as also the vision and transformation in the coming decade. Let me begin my exposition by quoting a clarion call made by Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa in a speech made on All India Radio in February 1949. He said, "For nearly 100 years, the USI has been of great use to the professional soldier, sailor and airman. It has kept them up to date in their outlook and military matters and has done a lot to foster inter-service feeling. It is necessary that all of us, the Ministry of Defence, the three service headquarters and individuals who are interested in the territorial integrity of this country should take an active personal and continuous interest in the success of the institution." These words spoken by him are as true today as they were when first spoken 71 years ago. In the last 150 years, since the inception of USI, it has emerged as India's pre-eminent think tank on the matters of national security and military affairs. During the pre-independence period, it had played a leading role in shaping the strategic thought of the Britain's Indian Empire, not only on how to rule India, but also in generating informed policy debates on its expeditionary forays in the strategic neighborhood of Afghanistan, Tibet, China, Burma, and elsewhere. Much of these perspectives and reflections are encapsulated in the old journals of the USI and amongst the plethora of records preserved in the USI library. Post-independence, the USI has transformed into a typical Track 1.5 institution that has rendered yeoman service in developing a strategic culture amongst the policy makers of modern India. It has, in a sense, been responsible for building up the nation's strategic community over the generations. The USI has acquired a unique multidisciplinary character vis-à-vis other think tanks in the sense that its activities range from historical research, military diplomacy, publication of diverse nature, career progression of military officers, and niche in net assessment, scenario building, and strategic gaming. The year 2020 marked the 150th anniversary of the founding of the USI. Even though the COVID pandemic somewhat hampered the physical conduct of planned activities, the celebrations continued unabated across digital platforms. While it may be tempting to bask in the glory of this heritage institution, but it would be unjust to gloss over the challenges the USI faces or to miss the opportunities that are coming in its way. Therefore, abiding need of the moment is to have a new vision and a comprehensive roadmap to transform USI into a world-class research institution endowed with the Indian strategic and military characteristics. Let me talk about our challenges. The USI was raised as an autonomous organization, as was to encourage critical thinking, candid articulation of views, and formulation of alternate policy or strategic choices. Post-independence, the USI closely worked with the service headquarters and received their guidance and support in its functioning. Being the only military think tank, it was widely patronized by the service officers, diplomats, civil servants, academia, and members of strategic community. The USI received financial support from the Prime Minister of India and service chiefs for the construction of its current premises. After moving to the current location from Kashmir House in 1996, its expenditure has grown exponentially, whereas the sources of income have remained constant. The major challenge facing the institution today is the perennial financial resource crunch that has been compounded by the COVID pandemic. USI needs infusion of funds inter alia to induct high caliber talent for multidisciplinary research. What are the opportunities that are coming our way? The financial constraint notwithstanding, new opportunities are coming our way. The institution is exploring new vistas and building relationship to further its core interests by entering into partnership with the services and a host of other organizations dealing with national security metrics. Our Center for Military History and Conflict Studies, which is called CMHCS, thanks to undying efforts of its secretary, has emerged as an accomplished node of excellence in the national and international arena. Its expertise is much sought after in providing consultancy for curating war museums, creating war memorials, writing of Indian military history, digitization of historical archives, and for guiding national commemorative activities. This center is most ideally suited for mentoring the proposed Military Heritage Trust of India. The services of the USI can be optimally utilized to enlighten the young generation, and India's rich military heritage and traditions can be shared with them. This is a sure way of imbuing national pride and patriotism in the nation's youth. The Center for Strategic Studies and Simulation, in short CS3, is the hub of USI research work. The domain expertise of CS3 in strategic net assessments, scenario building, and strategic gaming is much sought after by the National Security Council Secretariat, Ministry of Defense, DRDO, service headquarters, premium military and civil services training establishments, and universities in India and abroad. The USI, together with DRDO, is exploring the idea of developing a national strategic gaming model for India. Besides, this center is being called upon by the ministries to undertake guided research on matters of strategic security. USI has a cherished tradition of grooming military officers in their career progression. The courses section is the oldest military distance learning center in the country that prepares military officers to qualify in promotion and competitive examinations. USI is fast emerging as a node of excellence of higher learning for senior Indian and foreign military officers. New opportunities are arising for utilizing our domain expertise and facilities for conduct of customized jointmanship workshops, core programs for senior officers, specialized training modules on national defense and strategic management, and promoting defense diplomacy. The USI also raised and nurtured the Center for United Nations Peacekeeping for 12 years before it was adopted as a unit of Indian Army. The USI is a founder member of global networks, namely Challenges Forum, the Forum for Effectiveness of Peace Operations Research Network, and many others. Wide institutional knowledge and a resource faculty that is endowed with rich diplomatic and operational experience in the United Nations peacekeeping operations could easily be harnessed to address policy and doctrinal issues from the Indian perspective. To this end, India, in partnership with Indian Council of World Affairs, which is a Ministry of External Affairs think tank, has planned a series of events on the reforms of UN at a juncture when India is poised for presidency of United Nations Security Council. Now, let me talk about the vision of USI. It is aptly said, when vision is clear, decisions are easier. The founder of USI, Colonel Macgregor, established the institution with a lofty aim. And what is that lofty aim? He articulated that the USI is meant for the furtherance of interest and knowledge in the art, science and literature of national security in general and of the defense services in particular. The regulations were drawn with such foresight that they are still applicable today, albeit with adaptations necessitated to keep the organization aligned with the future. Since those formative years, the USI Governing Council, its sagacious secretaries or directors have continually nurtured the institution during its glorious journey. The USI Vision Paper 2020 was prepared in 2004. The document, among other guidelines, underscored the need for the USI to work closely with the services while maintaining its traditional autonomy. Creation of centers, namely Center for Military History and Conflict Studies, Center for Strategic Studies and Simulation, Center for UN Peacekeeping, was in keeping with the tenets of the Vision Document 2020. In the recent past, as we know, unprecedented developments in the field of geopolitics, strategic security, revolution in military affairs and digital technology have necessitated the articulation of a new vision and a roadmap for the transformation of the USI in the coming decade. The new Vision 2030 was adopted by the USI Governing Council in December 2020. And what it reads, its purpose is to consolidate transformation of USI into a digitally enabled multidisciplinary research institution on national security with core competency in military affairs, strategic net assessment, scenario gaming, historical research, then professional growth of military officers and defense diplomacy, to name a few. But this is while preserving its rich heritage and unique character as India's oldest tri-service think tank. Now, what is the roadmap for transformation 2030? In order to translate the enunciated vision into action, the focus of the USI management for next 10 years will be: first is the resource generation, that is to enhance income by optimally marketing USI domain expertise and its infrastructure, undertake membership drive, bid for net assessment projects from government establishments, seek sponsors for various events at the USI and obtain funding through corporate social responsibility route. Harmonize USI activities with Department of Military Affairs, Headquarter Integrated Defense Staff and Services. It's paramount to identify and meet their knowledge, advocacy and training needs. Make USI as a bridge between the services and other ministries on the matters of national security and military affairs. With the improvement in financial status, my aim would be to induct multi-domain experts who have flair for critical thinking and innovative research, combining modern tools of research with practical wisdom. Also lay added focus on questioning of conventional wisdom and on formulation of scientifically derived alternative perspectives and policy choices. Lay added focus on national security strategy and structures, new generation warfare, grey zone conflicts, non-traditional security threats. Also develop a methodology for threat perception and capability scan, focus on disruptive technologies, joint doctrines, military strategy, operational art, jointmanship, and more importantly, force optimization, structuring and development. Hone domain expertise in strategic net assessment, scenario building and strategic gaming at the national level. Develop a national war gaming model in conjunction with the DRDO and leverage USI's potential as a national wargaming center. Next, enhance quality of our publications, convert the USI journal, which is the oldest journal in Asia, which is 150 years old, into e-format and promote it on various digital portals. Produce high quality policy research papers pitched at the strategic level for the use by policy makers. Promote domain expertise in consultancy in military history and conflict studies. Showcase this center as a repository of India's military heritage and node of excellence for consultancy services in curating war museums, memorials, staff rights to epic Indian battlefields, and guided research on post-independence military history. Next is to enhance career and skill development of military officers, provide consultancy and support to Army headquarters in producing course content for career progression of military officers. Also, promote research, writing and debating skills in the military fraternity. Next is to produce and propagate high quality digital content through social media platforms such as USI Facebook page, Twitter handle and YouTube channel. And lastly, build partnership with academic institutions and foreign think tanks to gain insights, gauge and shape perceptions, and most importantly, promote India's narrative in comprehensive national security. Finally, I would say that in the last 150 years of existence of USI, this institution has emerged as a node of excellence in the country. It has played a crucial role in shaping and recording the country's strategic thought processes and in informing decision makers on broad spectrum of issues related to Indian armed forces. I hope that this talk will be instrumental in educating a wider audience about the work that this unique institution has done and continues to do in the service of the nation and its armed forces. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.